Welcome to another episode of the Geo Show here on News Channel Nebraska and Columbus News Team. I'm Grant Octon, as you may or may not already know. Check us out on Twitter. Go to Columbus NB News. Check us out on Facebook, Columbus News Team. But go feel free to tweet us or message us on Facebook if you got some topic you would like us to talk about. Yesterday we just got done watching that SCOTUS Columbus High game. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, be sure to check out the highlights. We'll talk a little bit about it here. I want to do kind of some reaction of those two games. We broadcast the boys' game, and so I kind of want to look at that one more than I do the girls, but we'll get into that a little more, and then we'll talk about some other things. Horse racing coming to Northeast Nebraska. We'll talk a little bit of SCOTUS golf and the six-man shootout, Nebraska versus Wyoming football all-star game. And that is going to be coming up this summer. And so first I just want to do a little bit of reaction, like I said, on that SCOTUS game. And so very interesting. We went into shootout, so that means you go the normal 80 minutes, you go into overtime, that's another 20 minutes, 2 10-minute halves. And, of course, if we're still tied after that, they go into shootout. And so what does that mean? Well, really any team can win. It's a guessing game at that point for the goalies to see if they can get stops. And Columbus, Melendez got 2 stops. That's what really led them to that victory there. They went 6 goals. Melendez coming up big on a stop on that 6th goal and on that 4th goal as well. It's a guessing game. He guessed right on which way he was diving, and he's able to stop the ball. He even guessed right on one from Alec Foltz, but the kick had so much speed on it that it rolled right over top and went in the net anyways. So even if you guess right, it's not always meaning you're going to get the block, but most of the time you do. So we did a good job there. Shohan had a great game, had a bunch of saves, and just unfortunately wasn't able to, for SCOTUS, get a couple blocks. And really that game came down to SCOTUS missing a goal within like the first 10 minutes of the game. Cole Harrington, who also had a great game, came down on the right side in that first half, and a ball in the goal opened up. The ball came rolling out. Harrington booted it nice, had some good curve on it, and it just went off the top of the crossbar. It's a tough situation. It was a really good kick. He just couldn't quite get it down enough to make it go in. And then Nathan Oshtick also had a really good shot on goal. He was kind of working between a bunch of defenders and shot cross goal, and it just went right over the top of the net and right over the top of the crossbar. So they had 2 really good chances. Pedraza as well, Jorge Pedraza for Columbus High, had a great chance when he kicked one over the top right upper 90 in that second half. Oshtick was in the second half as well. So really, if both teams would have capitalized on those, we probably would have been 2-1. SCOTUS definitely had more opportunities. They were ahead in possession, and the first time they faced off, that was not the case. Columbus High did a really good job of possessing them that first time they matched up at the beginning of the year. But the defense for Columbus High stayed strong enough, and because SCOTUS was unable to capitalize on those 2 goal opportunities, it led to the shootout situation. And I kind of made a comment when we were doing the broadcast, when I was with Brandon Axman, was the play-by-play, that it seems like every time these 2 teams get in a shootout, and it almost seems like it started back in 2009 when these 2 faced off in district championship there, it seems like the team that's rated lower is the one that comes out on top, and that was certainly the case in this game is Columbus High. And now when I look at this game, my ratings, and we work at this district tournament, I think the ratings would shake up a little bit as far as if this had happened earlier in the season. SCOTUS, as far as I'm concerned, I think SCOTUS is probably the best team in the state. They are just, you watch them, and even watching them against Columbus High, it just looks so strong, and they do so many things right mechanically that if they would have toned in those 2 goals, we wouldn't even be having this conversation really, but we'd be having a different conversation. But SCOTUS is, as far as I'm concerned, is probably the best team in the state. And what really surprised me, and I knew Columbus High was good, and I don't want to make it sound like I didn't have faith that Columbus High could compete with SCOTUS, but I really wasn't sure after watching the Schuyler game, because SCOTUS really gave it to Schuyler pretty good, and Schuyler just was unable to answer with what SCOTUS was bringing to the table, and so it's just hard to going into that game with Schuyler ranked third, and Columbus High ranked fourth to be sure, who's the better team. But I think Columbus High, that's a big win for them just because they show they're probably, now in my mind, the second best team in the state, and that they can really play with anybody and go into a shootout. That's great. Now they needed to capitalize on a goal too, and their biggest issue is probably SCOTUS's normal strength, and that's the goal scoring abilities and the prolific scores that SCOTUS has. We talk about Jake Boss, Foltz, even Oshtek, who has a bunch of goals on the season as well, and he's just a junior. But and Anthony Cush too, can't forget him. But and Cole Harrington, I just can list all these guys. A lot of good goal scorers. Marcus Dotson scored 2 on SCOTUS on Schuyler, excuse me, and so they got a lot of guys that can really put it in the back of the net. Now, Pedraza, a guy who does a really good job at scoring. Gilberto Rodriguez, a really big key player for them. Luis Arcos had a fantastic game defensively. He played really tough, and I thought he played really respectful, too. They were playing physical, but he was one of those guys that was helping players up if he tackled or took some guys down. And I saw Jackson Kumpf actually stretching one of the players out. If you watched the game, Gilberto Rodriguez was cramping up, and Kumpf was there to help kind of stretch out his legs. It looked like it was like a calf or a thigh cramp or a hamstring cramp, that kind of thing. And so a lot of props to those two guys for the sportsmanship they showed in a tough match. There are, you can play physical. I think you need to play aggressive, be the aggressor. But then when it comes time that it's, it's a timeout or the game is in a break, being able to be show that sportsmanship and be kind to your opponent, I think that's very important. And those two guys did that with flying colors yesterday. And so that's Columbus High's big lack, is that prolific score. Now they got a couple guys, like I said, Rodriguez, Pedraza, Adame does a good job. A bunch of those guys, Luis Arcos has a couple goals, but even back from the defense. But they don't have that prolific dude, and that's something that, again, a state tournament, the defense is so strong for Columbus High that they've been able to get away with sneaking in that goal really late, and then beating teams because their defense does such a good job and their midfield is really strong, with and just a lot of guys in there. And Tarango, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him. He does a really good job in there as captain as well. So it's going to be interesting. I hope this means we're going to see a rematch of 2009 where we get a Columbus High SCOTUS final, because that was a blast, and that was my senior year, and I had a blast watching that game. Even though I was at Columbus High at the time and Columbus High lost, I still had fun watching those guys. Had some friends over at SCOTUS, and so it was good to see those two teams match up, and it just says a lot about the Columbus area and where they've come in soccer. But we're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be back in just a second on the video show here on News Channel Nebraska Columbus News Team. I'm Brandon on Columbus Media News on Twitter and Columbus News Team Facebook. We'll be back in a second.
Welcome to Ernst, one of the largest dealers in northeast Nebraska. With 8 acres of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. At the new Ernst, we're doing things differently. Tired of haggling? Tired of back and forth? Let us show you how easy it can be, and we never charge stock fees. Finding the vehicle you want at the best possible price is our priority. We know you can shop anytime or buy anywhere. Shop Ernst, East Highway 30 in Columbus.
Our economic future depends on tomorrow's skilled workforce. Dream it, do it. And Central Community College Columbus is here to help young adults find careers in advanced manufacturing and related businesses. Visit dreamitdoit.com for more information or tour the Central Community College Columbus campus.
Hi, I'm Joe Steffi.
And I'm Michelle Steffi.
And we would like to invite you to our new dealership now located on East Highway 30 in Columbus.
We are ready to meet all of your automotive needs.
So come and see what makes us different. Gene Steffi Ford, now on East Highway 30 in Columbus.
Life is about doing those things we love. And when something happens, you risk that connection to those things. It's about the path you follow to recovery, to return to those things that bring a smile to your face. When it comes to physical, occupational, and speech therapy, rely on the experts who combine compassion with excellence in rehabilitative services. The path of personalized, comprehensive, and innovative care to get you where you want to go is at Columbus Community Hospital, specializing in making a difference.
Hi, I'm Dee Hansen. I'm the marketing director, and we would like to introduce you to Bank of the Valley. Community-minded, family-centered, measurable relationships. When it comes to your business, agriculture, and personal banking needs, trust Bank of the Valley.
We're obviously a locally owned bank, but we're also a bank that's very involved.
The most important thing is when you walk in the front door, everybody knows your first name. We are small town banking with all the modern conveniences.
Bank of the Valley in Bellwood, David City, Platte Center, and their brand new location in Columbus.
Ever wonder where those mysterious spots and stains come from? Call your local Heaven's Best carpet and upholstery cleaning technician. You can enjoy life, and we'll clean it up.
Heaven's Best Carpet Cleaning, the cleanest carpet you'll ever see.
Heaven's Best. You've tried the rest, now try the best. Call George at 402-564-9060 or on the web at columbusne.heavensbest.com.
Central Community College, investing in you. Academic transfer, business, health, and technical courses all available at a fraction of the cost of a university. Small class sizes for an enhanced educational experience. Get started on improving your future. Contact Central Community College Columbus campus.
In many aspects of life, there are lines between where we work and where we play. But when we cross that line, it's when we become connected to our community. At Columbus Community Hospital, neighbors take care of neighbors. With years of experience and training, caring for everyone, young and old, day or night, the expertise to handle the simple and complex, and provide personalized care in your own backyard. It connects us. Columbus Community Hospital, specializing in you.
Welcome back to the GO Show here on News Channel Nebraska and Columbus News Team. Thank you for tuning in here on News Channel Nebraska 48.1 or the Roku app, or even if you're just watching online on YouTube or in SoundCloud or on columbusnewsteam.com. So many ways to watch us. Check us out. Get on Twitter, Columbus NE News, for all the latest. As well, get on Facebook, Columbus News Team, to just get everything Columbus. We got all the sports. And if you want to check out the highlights for those two soccer games, be sure to get on there. Columbus High and SCOTUS girls also faced off yesterday, and they had a thrilling overtime victories for SCOTUS and a tough late goal for Ellie McMeekin to tie things up in the end of regulation. SCOTUS got that goal early on. I believe it was by Feehan on a corner, and then towards the end of regulation, McMeekin gets a goal, and then the younger Stutzman, Ellie Stutzman, we got that second OT goal to give SCOTUS the 2-1 win. So congratulations to them. SCOTUS has really, I think, proven themselves, especially with that game against Gretna where they played them very close and really, I thought, easily could have won just the way that they outpossessed Gretna. But Gretna had some really good strikers and some very talented players, and they took advantage and when they needed to. But SCOTUS has proven themselves as one of the top teams in the state, and this just really shows Columbus High has that ability to play at that top level. Columbus High has played maybe inconsistent at times this year, but that was a big game for them to show that they can play at that top level. And if they would have done a few things right, maybe it would have came in their favor, would have turned in their favor, and they possibly could have won. But congratulations to SCOTUS on being district champs. Just impressive group of soccer athletes in this area. We got 5 teams from the Columbus area out of the 6 going to Super State. Lakeview girls, SCOTUS boys and girls, Columbus High boys and girls, and that really just shows how good of a program for youth soccer there is around the area, because you don't just that's something that doesn't just happen. You have to grow the athletes, and you have to have support in the community, and it really shows how strong soccer is ingrained in this community, because you have athletes like this coming together on all these different teams to provide this many sub-state teams, and then Schuyler boys as well are a great team this year, and that just shows you, and they're just right down the road, and so it is going to be interesting to see how all this stuff works out. I am very excited to see how sub-state turns out. I think a lot of these teams will all fly through that first round, but you never know. Lakeview girls could have a tough matchup, and we'll see. But they've proven themselves to be a pretty strong team, and we'll see what they can do. They got to come off that loss from SCOTUS, but we'll see what happens. It should be fun. Some other good news, exciting news this weekend is the 6-man shootout rosters have been announced. And if you don't know what the 6-man shootout is, that's all right. It's only 5 years old, so It's going to be 5 years old this year, so it's relatively new as far as all-star games go. And it's players from Riverside, St. Edward, and Spalding Academy facing off in the 5th annual Nebraska-Wyoming six-man shootout. It's a six-man football all-star game, which is exciting, especially for these six-man teams that maybe don't get as much love in those all-star rosters, and just gives the seniors one last chance to play. It's happening this summer. It was released Wednesday. 3 St. Edward standouts and Bryce Hoffmeister, Brandon Miller, and Drake Shanley are in the lineup. Also chosen in the area was Riverside's Jake Kennedy with Chargers coach Joe Imus. Joe Imus is going to be the head coach for the Nebraska team, so congratulations to him. Very well deserving. Spalding Academy's Brock Leslie was also chosen to play on the team, and Coach Troy Kleffner was selected as an assistant coach from Spalding Academy, so congratulations to those guys as well. Wyoming currently edging out Nebraska 3-1 in the last 4 years. Nebraska actually won it last year, though, 34-8, so a nice victory there. And because Nebraska was the state champions this year, that's how it works in that six-man thing, then they're going to play it in Nebraska this year. It's going to be held in Albion on June 25th, and so excited to see that kind of shake out, and looking forward to seeing how that works out this summer. So it's going to be a fun one to watch, and I don't know if we can broadcast that or if we're going to be able to, because I just don't know what our schedules are right now as far as summer broadcasting, but that would be a fun one to broadcast, so we'll have to keep that one in mind there, and I hope we can do it. No promises, but I hope we can check that one out. We haven't had a chance to do a six-man football game yet as far as our Columbus office goes, and so that would be really cool to see that. And, of course, going to be rooting for Nebraska. Going to be unbiased, but in my head, going to be rooting for Nebraska a little bit just because I want to be curious to see how those guys do, and I hope they outperform, of course. So that'll be fun. Another interesting tidbit, just something to look at, horse racing. There's a lot of things going on right now to kind of, I think, bring back life back to horse racing in, Nebraska as well, especially with that gambling bill on the docket for November, and on the ballot for November. And basically what that would say is it would allow gambling at horse tracks outside of the current gambling that they have right now. So that would probably bring a lot of life back to horse tracks, but there's, of course, a heavy debate on, should you add gambling, should you not add gambling? And when you talk about Nebraska, there's it seems like clear majority of people who say they don't want gambling, or is a little stronger when you talk about the loud people that are supporting one versus the other. It seems like people against gambling is a little bit stronger, and of course that's a debate or an argument, I guess, for a different time. But South Sioux City getting approved for a horse track and a simulcast wagering facility at the site, and that's the Adocad Downs the former Adocad Downs facility in South Sioux City. On Thursday, Nebraska Racing Commission granted a license for South Sioux City Racing Events Incorporated. The track is being developed by Ho Chunk, the Economic Development Corporation of the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska. Adocad Downs closed in 2012, so they've been down for about 4 years, obviously, doing a little simple math, even though I haven't done math in about, longer than that, 6 or 7 years. But there will be a single day of live racing at the new short track on September. And, of course, state law, if you didn't know, state law requires that a track, if they're going to have that simulcast racing, they need to do at least one racing event. So if they're going to do that this summer, they got to kick that one racing event in, and they're going to do that in September. 8 days before my birthday. There we go. The South Sioux City Complex also would be eligible to add a casino gambling if voters were to approve gambling measures being proposed on that November ballot. So that'll be interesting and something to keep your eye on. I'm going to keep my eye on it too as we follow these different ballots coming through. We got the May primaries coming up rather quickly as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out, and if that gambling side has enough support to pass, and you're going to see a big change in the life of horse track racing if that gambling comes through, because that's going to be some extra funding, and it's kind of a dying industry, especially in Nebraska, just as more in the surrounding states, as more tracks are closing. And I've always enjoyed horse racing. It's just it's when you look at studies and research that people have done, it's older demographic that is more religious to going out to the horse races. And that's something I was listening to ESPN, I believe it was Rosillo and Cannell the other day, and they were talking about horse racing. And this last year we had that Triple Crown winner, and now for him to go back and win the Triple Crown again, they were doing research that it wouldn't get as much media love and, of course, fan love from the public just because it has already been done. And so, that's unfortunate if that is the case, but the guys in Vegas usually know what they're doing. And so we'll see how that comes, but we still got some horse racing happening in Columbus, and that's obviously exciting. So if you get a chance, go check that out this summer when they got those dates released. So I'm looking forward to see how that goes. We will be right back in a little bit. We got to take another break. Be sure to check us out, Columbus Indie News on Twitter, Columbus News Team on Facebook. You can check me out as well on Twitter, C&T Grant Otten. But just be sure to check us out. We'll be right back in a little bit. It's the Geo Show. I'm Grant Otten.
Welcome to Ernst, one of the largest dealers in northeast Nebraska. With 8 acres of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. At the new Ernst, we're doing things differently. Tired of haggling? Tired of back and forth? Let us show you how easy it can be, and we never charge stock fees. Finding the vehicle you want at the best possible price is our priority. We know you can shop anytime or buy anywhere. Shop Ernst, East Highway 30 in Columbus.
Our economic future depends on tomorrow's skilled workforce. Dream it, do it, and Central Community College Columbus is here to help young adults find careers in advanced manufacturing and related businesses. Visit dreamitdoit.com for more information or tour the Central Community College Columbus campus.
Hi, I'm Joe Steffi.
And I'm Michelle Steffi.
And we would like to invite you to our new dealership now located on East Highway 30 in Columbus.
We are ready to meet all of your automotive needs.
So come and see what makes us different. Gene Steffi Ford, now on East Highway 30 in Columbus.
Life is about doing those things we love. And when something happens, you risk that connection to those things. It's about the path you follow to recovery, to return to those things that bring a smile to your face. When it comes to physical, occupational, and speech therapy, rely on the experts who combine compassion with excellence in rehabilitative services. The path of personalized, comprehensive, and innovative care to get you where you want to go is at Columbus Community Hospital, specializing in making a difference.
Hi, I'm Dee Hansen. I'm the marketing director, and we would like to introduce you to Bank of the Valley.
Community-minded, family-centered, measurable relationships. When it comes to your business, agriculture, and personal banking needs, trust Bank of the Valley.
We're obviously a locally owned bank, but we're also a bank that's very involved.
The most important thing is when you walk in the front door, everybody knows your first name. We are small town banking with all the modern conveniences.
Bank of the Valley in Bellwood, David City, Platte Center, and their brand new location in Columbus.
Ever wonder where those mysterious spots and stains come from? Call your local Heaven's Best carpet and upholstery cleaning technician. You can enjoy life, and we'll clean it up.
Heaven's Best Carpet Cleaning, the cleanest carpet you'll ever see.
Heaven's Best. You've tried the rest, now try the best. Call George at 402-564-9060 or on the web at columbusne.heavensbest.com.
Central Community College, investing in you. Academic transfer, business, health, and technical courses all available at a fraction of the cost of a university. Small class sizes for an enhanced educational experience. Get started on improving your future. Contact Central Community College Columbus campus.
In many aspects of life, there are lines between where we work and where we play. But when we cross that line, it's when we become connected to our community. At Columbus Community Hospital, neighbors take care of neighbors. With years of experience and training, caring for everyone, young and old, day or night, the expertise to handle the simple and complex, and provide personalized care in your own backyard. It connects us. Columbus Community Hospital, specializing in you.
Welcome back to the Geo Show here on News Channel Nebraska and Columbus News Team. I'm Grant Otten. Be sure to check us out on Twitter, Columbus Indie News, or Facebook, Columbus News Team. You can also check me out on Twitter, C&T Grant Otten. And if you have a suggestion or want to hear us talk about something on the show, just tweet us or message us on Facebook, and Brandon, who also comes on the show quite often with me. If you watch the show, you'll have seen him before, and we usually have some pretty good conversations, so we can get into some good debate if you would have a topic you want to talk about. Something I want to talk about is SCOTUS golf here before we finish our TV portion of the show. And they're doing some exciting stuff right now, and I just want to look at this GICC tournament real quick, because GICC is a very strong team and a contender for the state championship again this year. They're the defending state champions. But coming off that GICC tournament, they got second place, and they edged out Wood River and Aurora. In impressive fashion, they beat Wood River by 1 stroke. They beat Aurora by 2 strokes, and just a day earlier in the David City Aurora Triangular, they lost to Aurora. So for their ability to kind of turn around and come back and win that thing was very impressive. Jacob Wright and Brandon Johnston were 2 guys that we knew coming into this season were going to be key players for the SCOTUS golf team. And if they're golfing good, that sets the team up for success. But of course, they need those back end guys, those in those 3, 4, 5 slots to finish strong as well. And they did just that. Darren Wrinkle shot great as well, 13th. He shot an 82. Wright and Johnson both shot 79, so they had fantastic days. And Marshall Dryfirst and Bailey Braun, those are those 2 guys that kind of rounded out the SCOTUS' top 5, and they finished with 88s and 86s. Braun shot a 42 on that front 9, and Coach said, Carl Dearman, head coach at SCOTUS for golf, said that was really a key round for their victory. Obviously, they didn't have any room for error. They won by 1 stroke and 2 strokes or they got second by 1 stroke and 2 strokes. So that round, he said, was the key one for Bailey, because he golfed at a higher level than he normally did. He ended up shooting a 44 in that back 9, but that 42 was huge, and that took them to the next level, really. So congratulations to those guys. But keep an eye on SCOTUS as they get ready for that state tournament. Little disappointment last year as they came up short, but they're setting themselves up. And if they can do golf, their better golf here as we get towards the end, they're going to be a team to watch out for. Definitely a team that competes at a placing level at state, if not the top level. So it'll be interesting to see how they do, and exciting to see them kind of coming on here at the end of the season. A lot of really nice kids. We go to these different competitions, we get a chance to talk to the athletes here and there, and just a lot of great things to say about those guys, and a lot of great stuff about all the athletes in Columbus. There's a lot of nice kids and well-deserving of the success that they do have. Columbus High Golf, they're doing some good things too, and they've shown that they can golf at a high level. When I look back at the Norfolk duel that they had earlier this season where they beat Norfolk, and Norfolk, a very high-caliber team. Norfolk definitely more consistent on the golfing green than Columbus has been, but the fact that they've shown they can beat a team like Norfolk in a straight head-on-head match, that's very impressive. And so Columbus High Golf, be sure to kind of keep an eye on them too going into the end of the season. I hope they can kind of turn things on. And they had a rough match in their Columbus Home Invitational. The guys overall just did not golf very good, but they've turned around, and Cave DeBauer is an extremely good golfer. He's someone to watch, especially even individually as we head into that state tournament, because he can do some really good things. He can golf at a really high level. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys develop, how the end of this season as spring sports are just wrapping up here, if everybody could compete at the highest level. And soccer's doing that right now. Hopefully the golf teams can do that. And Columbus High Track is doing that too. Columbus High girls got second at that GNAC conference meet, and the boys tied for third. And that is, some of the, even, talking about when I was back in high school, that is really impressive the way this track team has come around and developed over the years. And Coach Patrick Clark, if you get a chance, go back and listen to last week's interview. He's the boys coach at Columbus High. He is a blast to talk to, but they're doing some really good things, and couldn't be happier for them. Hopefully they can continue on this hot streak, because they got some athletes really turning things on here at the end of the season. We are going to do a little bit more, try to do a little bit more on the podcast version, but this wraps it up for the TV version. Thank you for tuning in to News Channel Nebraska and Columbus News Team. Again, the GO show here on 48.1 or the Roku app or YouTube or SoundCloud, wherever you're tuning in. Thank you, and we'll see you next week. But I'm Grant Ott with the GO show. Check us out on Columbus News Team on Facebook and Columbus Any News on Twitter.